Hey, good morning, everyone. Mona here from GNC Lakeland Plan City. I'm completely in a different setting today. We are in Florida, Lakeland, Florida, in the front of my store at Lakeside Village. It is almost 11 o'clock, and the weather is a little cold for Florida. Can you see we're wearing turtlenecks and everything? So it's 54 degrees, I think, 54?
54 in the shade with a little bit of wind.
So, I'm not complaining compared to whatever people feeling up north. Yeah. But today I'm having a podcast, a very unique podcast with the Bodybuilding Vegan John Thomas. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
That's awesome. So I met you at Crunch one time.
Yes.
And I noticed you right away. Yeah, the hair.
The haircut.
I like the haircut and the color. And then I looked at you and I saw you were vegan, and you stopped by our stores a few times, and I found out that you're the vegan bodybuilder. So tell me a little bit more. What's about you being vegan?
Yeah, so I go by on all the social medias, the Bodybuilding Vegan.
Okay.
I never really intended for this to become a thing. I created my Instagram to document a contest prep for a bodybuilding show back in like 2013. So I was just posting like kind of random photos just so I could go back and look one day. And then over time, my Instagram started to grow, and now I am known as the Bodybuilding Vegan. But my journey, I'll give you the long answer. It started a long time ago. I wasn't born vegan. I wasn't born a bodybuilder. Mm-hmm. I never really asked for this, and now I'm kind of about as extreme as you can get with a vegan head tattoo, and this is basically
Can you please
my
go
life.
to the camera like,
yeah.
Hey, we need people, this is a tattoo, come on.
Yeah, it's real.
It's
it hurt.
real.
It really hurt.
Okay.
So in my own journey, I think a lot of us, if we can really connect with ourselves, connect with like our childhood self, we have these tendencies to be kind to ourselves, kind to animals. You look at children, they're so kind and giving for the most part. Sometimes kids can be kids, but for me, I was 4 years old. I was fishing with my dad, and he said, "Do you want to eat fish?" And I said, "Yeah." And I was thinking about fish on the plate. I didn't realize the fish in the water were going to actually have to be pulled out of the water, drowned, and then cut up and killed for me to eat. And so I threw a fit, and that was like 4 years old. That was the earliest recollection that I could have that I might go down this path. We all watch Bambi. I don't think any of us feel good when Bambi's mom dies. But I probably went home and had a hamburger or something else that day. Like I didn't connect the dots that other foods probably also come from animals.
Yeah.
So at 10 years old, this wasn't my own idea. I had a friend come over and tell me, if I keep eating hamburgers, I'm killing cows. And at 10 years old, I was able to logically kind of put the pieces together that, okay, a hamburger does come from a cow, but everybody else does it. So why should I be different? Like, if everybody else does it, it's probably okay. Mm-hmm. But she planted a seed, if you will, and over the next few months, I started thinking about it more. And so I didn't want to be labeled vegetarian at the time because I was already being bullied. I had buck teeth, I had long hair. Literally every single day from like kindergarten to 8th grade, I was bullied a lot. Oh, wow. And so I didn't want to give the bullies any more ammunition to use against me. So I definitely wasn't going to call myself a vegetarian.
Yes.
But I started eating less meat. I started cutting out animals. I cut out chicken, cut out cows, cut out pigs. I would eat turkey, I would eat fish, funny enough, even though fish was the original thing that I thought about. Mm-hmm. And I know this is getting long-winded, but I think it's important to understand where I came from because I think this is in everyone. I finally decided at Thanksgiving, I was gonna eat turkey. It's my favorite thing. That's only meat I was gonna eat. But then I saw it on the table, and I thought, if I'm not gonna eat a fish, if I'm not gonna eat a cow, why would I eat this too? So I decided to stop. So that was at 10 years old. And I thought, I'm saving the world, I'm doing everything right, I'm vegetarian. 3 years later, I read a magazine and I hear more about factory farming, and I realize that every single cow in the dairy industry ends up getting killed when they stop producing milk. Wow. Every single male chicken at an egg-laying facility is put into a meat grinder when it's 10 minutes old. And we kill billions of them every year doing this. So I told my mom in 8th grade, on the way to middle school, I'm gonna be vegan. And she's like, okay, he's being weird again, but whatever, And that was me at 13. I'm now 32, so I've been vegan for 19 years.
Wow.
And I thought at that moment that was it. Like I've fixed all the problems. I'm not hurting any animals. But then I realized if I don't speak about it, if I am not, because I was not what you see now. I was not a bodybuilder at 13. I was not with the head tattoos or outspoken like this, getting on podcasts. I was very quiet. I was very reserved because I had been bullied so much. And I think there is a possibility that through the bullying, I had gained some empathy
and strength
and had realized I don't like it when other people treat me poorly. Why would, like, if a bully can bully me because they're bigger or because they're stronger, maybe that's why I became a bodybuilder. Mm-hmm. But if they can do that just because they're bigger, that doesn't mean it's right. And so just because I could kill an animal to eat it doesn't mean that it's right. I can, but that doesn't make it okay. And so that's why I'm here. I'm trying to speak about that. And then there's so many other aspects of it. There's health, and then there's...
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
What's about being a vegan health-wise? How do you feel, or what did you feel when you convert 100% to being vegan? How did your body react to that?
Yeah, great question. And I'm going to have to draw on like some of my experience as a coach and other athletes that I've worked with, because for me, I was a 13-year-old kid. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know much about nutrition. I didn't know anything really. I knew I could read calories, but that was about it. Mm-hmm. So I don't have this great transformation of, oh, I went vegan, I felt better or anything. I was a kid. I didn't really pay attention to it. I didn't know that people thought that could happen or could go the other way. Mm-hmm. I was kind of a blank slate. Okay. However, I've worked with about 400 to 500 athletes now. A lot of them have come to me not as vegans and have wanted to make that transition. I've had football players, I've had bodybuilders, and none of them have seen a change where they go plant-based or they go vegan and their performance drops off. Okay. Every single time, because I understand the nutrition side of it. Of course, we still need protein, but we can get protein from plants. It's the same place that animals get their protein before we eat them. We're just kind of cutting out the middleman here. Okay. And then also, I think being vegan is not a health thing. Being vegan is more of an ethical stance. I see. Because Oreos are vegan, Swedish fish are vegan, like all this junk food. Yes. I just went to the movies the other day and we swung by the gas station to get vegan junk food to go watch a movie. And it's like, vegan is more about what you do to others, not so much just yourself. Okay. But I do believe there's a lot of health implications that can be explored through a plant-based diet. Okay.
Like cholesterol, blood pressure, sugar, diabetics, all this kind of diseases that the American diet or the diet we eat every day affects us. So do you think vegan would eliminate most of these?
I think for like a blanket general statement for the general population of the United States, if everyone went on a whole foods plant-based diet, we'd probably see 90 to 95% of cancer, heart attack, diabetes, strokes just vanish over the next year or so. Because now granted, like, Oreos, those are not whole foods plant-based. Whole foods would be like vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, less processed foods. And you could make the argument that you could get some of that from meat. You can make that argument as well. Like technically meat is less processed for the most part versus some of the other stuff we get in the grocery store. Sure. But if we go with that whole foods plant-based diet, you are going to be darn near impossible to be overweight. If you're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, it's going to be very, very difficult to eat so many calories to get to 300 to 400 to 500 pounds like we see people
like
doing.
Last night, I'm going to have to say, I'm craving something sweet, and I wanted something for, what did I get? An orange.
There you go. Yeah.
I really ate an orange, that navel orange, and it filled me up. It was like it had like a little bit sweetness into it, high fiber, made me feel good, full all night long.
High fiber, the water content. So yeah, like go try it. Like I love these little like things where they show like this is like chocolate, like or like some other candy, and it's like 100 calories, and it's like the size of a quarter. But if you do like grapes or orange, it's the size of your hand at least. And
full are you? How are you gonna feel? And the energy, and of course all the micro and all the nutrient inside of that, of course.
100%.
But this way, if we're gonna do that, I think America would be all the industry, and they will be really angry with us. If you want to eliminate all the diseases within a year, oh my God, that will be a great thing to happen. But do you think?
There are people,
there's a choice though.
Yeah.
So some people can make that choice, and that's why we're here today.
Yes, and I want to encourage people that it's not all or nothing. You don't have to go in and be vegan overnight. For me, it was a journey. I had to realize at 4 and realize at 10 and go vegetarian for a few years and then go vegan. It wasn't overnight. Now, some people, my girlfriend, she just pretty much overnight decided to go. She's doing great. She's in the best shape of her entire life. Granted, she's also going to the gym now. She was doing yoga and stuff like that before. Now she lifts. She looks incredible and has tons of energy. And for her, it was a little bit, I think, of a harder transition because she knew for her whole life how to eat non-vegan
Yeah,
foods.
so for someone like her, how did she really do with some of the challenges like craving or social situation, and where people are eating all that great food like I think is given dinner and you're Mr. Vegan here. So how could you handle a situation like that?
I encourage people to really dial down and find their why, the reason why they want to do this. Whether you're going vegan for the animals, whether you're going plant-based for your health, whether you're going to the gym because you want to keep up with your kids, whatever your reason why is, if that's strong enough, you can stick with anything. I mean, if I told you literally your life depends on doing this, or your children's lives depended upon doing this, you'd probably do it. So for her, I asked her on like our second date, like, if I had invited you over for hamburgers, would you have said yes? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, so if you came over, we went to the backyard, I grabbed the steak knife or the knife, and we grabbed Annabelle the cow, you'd slit her throat and cut her skin off and cook her with me? And she's like, no, I wouldn't do that. And I don't think most people would. We're so disconnected. So if you go and watch some of the documentaries or go watch some of the factory farm footage, for me at least, it's really hard to walk away from that and not be able to unsee it. I now see how these animals are treated. You can make the argument that you can have a family farm or something like that. If that's something you want to invest in and do, that's your own decision. But 99% of all the meat in our country comes from factory farms. And so when you think of it like that, for at least for me and for my girlfriend, the reason why was really clear. And when you have that reasoning behind it, you can make it through social situations. You can make it through cravings, kind of like being a bodybuilder. I had cravings for 20 weeks to get on stage. I wanted vegan pizza every day, but I also wanted to win more than I wanted that vegan pizza. So it's like, what do you want? As far as practical advice, doing your research, there's almost a vegan version of everything out right now. There's vegan cheeses, there's vegan seafoods, there's vegan burgers, pizza. I go to these vegan events and we try all these.
How popular is vegan now compared to, like, let's say 10, 15 years ago?
Oh, it's completely different. It's like even in GNC, when I worked at GNC over a decade ago, the only vegan protein we had was the soy protein isolate. And it was one container. Sometimes they'd be sold out of the one container that they would have, and I wouldn't be able to get my protein from there. But now we have so many, there's a whole wall in the GNC behind us. Online, there are so many options. When you go even to Walmart, Walmart has aisles of vegan food now. The Breyers makes like a plant-based ice cream. Like, I'm not saying vegan ice cream is healthy, but when the decision is literally grabbing this spot on the shelf or this spot on the shelf, and this spot is maybe a little bit healthier and this spot kills an animal, for me, it's like,
how about the price or the budget? Is it really expensive to be vegan compared to the other, like a whey, or how do you get your source of protein?
That's a really good question. So from like protein sources, the vegan protein options have come down a lot in price, and things like pea protein isolate and soy protein isolate are usually going to be cheaper than whey proteins. Because there's just less middleman. You grow the peas and then you convert them into protein powder versus having to grow the soybeans to feed the cows to make the whey protein.
It takes a lot more.
More expenses. So as far as just buying protein, it's very, very close right now. As far as buying the actual food, if you go to buy a regular burger versus a vegan burger, at most restaurants, they're about the same price. In the store, the vegan options are sometimes more expensive. But I also ask people to look, like, what are you getting when you buy the cheaper meat option? Like, what is in this? Hormones. What antibiotics? What hormones? If you're going to like a local butcher or going and getting organic, truly pasture-raised beef, that's probably going to be more expensive than the 100%. Vegan option. So if health
have you seen the prices of the meat lately?
If health is a concern, but also budget, I still think for most people vegan is going to be a more sustainable option as far as like a vegan meat versus a regular meat. But if you're talking true cost, Like, I want to be the healthiest and spend the least amount of money. Things like rice, beans, oats, nuts, seeds, fruits, certain vegetables, that's going to be way cheaper than all these meat-based options.
Fish or whatever you get. Yeah, that's 100% correct. Yeah.
And for me too, it's not just, oh, I'm the bodybuilding vegan, I only care about animals, or I only care about my health. I care about you, I care about the planet, I care about everyone here. And if we look at the way the world is set up right now with current consumption of meat, we can't sustain this. We're running the oceans dry. And once that happens, the oceans are about 5 times as strong for removing carbon dioxide as the Amazon rainforest. So if we kill off the whales through factory farming, where there's a lot of other animals killed in this, we won't be able to recirculate the waste products from the fish and stuff to reach the algae to be converted into oxygen. And if that happens, we're basically going to suffocate out here. So it's not just about me, it's not just about you, it's about everyone. And
the whole environment.
Again, you don't have to be perfect, but we can all change a meal, change a week, change something.
And again, I'm going to go back again. You said like GNC now has a huge variety of protein, and we have some example of it right here. And even we just got a new RTD.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna have to try this. Yeah, I need some protein.
Yeah, I was like, really, the first, RTD greens, which was really, I never seen anything like that. So it just actually dropped to our stores, which I would love for you and me to try. So there is a variety now of protein and everything. So what's a meal looks like for you? I have a whey protein here. I'm gonna also have you look at them, read the labels. I'm very sure you read your labels, and tell me, what is the specific you look for when you're looking for a vegan protein?
Like a vegan protein powder?
Yeah.
So for me, with the vegan proteins, I purchase those because I'm looking for more of an isolated protein source. For me, at least, it's very easy as a vegan to get carbohydrates, to get fats, but to get protein can be a little bit more challenging.
Okay. That was another question I was going to, as a bodybuilder.
So
thank you.
When I look at these, like for example, I want to check the fats, the carbs, and the protein to make sure that, like, some of these brands, they might have like 10 grams of fat, 15 or 20 grams of carbs for 20 grams of protein. At that point, it's almost like a meal replacement. It's not something that I'm going to get a ton of protein. Like this one sitting in front of me, we have 4 grams of fat, we have 2 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of protein.
So that's a meal replacement kind of.
For me, this is actually pretty solid. As far as like the protein to carbohydrate to fat ratio. We're getting a pretty good amount of protein here.
Okay, and also, as you said, all the protein are from broccoli, almonds, I can say eggs.
Actually, this is the equivalent. So they're saying
that's the equivalent of.
Yeah, it'd be the same. The amount of protein in this is the same
20
as.
grams. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same as two large eggs or.
So when you're vegan, you didn't eat eggs. You didn't eat any.
No, nothing from animals.
Nothing
no
from
eggs,
animals at all.
No milk, not even honey. So.
Not even honey.
Yeah, and for a while I was like, oh, I can get honey from like an organic local farmer. They'll help save the bees. Not really a big deal. And then I got my local organic honey, and there was a dead baby bee sitting in the top of it, and I was like,
Oh no.
So again, like. I think everything.
I'm not an expert, but from what I know, that bees has a lot to do with our ecosystem and the environment.
100%.
100%. I mean, I would love to study more about it, but
bees are extremely vital for humans as we function because they pollinate the crops that we grow, and we have not successfully found ways to propagate bees on their own, and so like that's another reason it's really important to protect their natural habitat. Because they literally help feed us.
Yes,
so.
100%. 100%. So even RTD, so I'm gonna go ahead and open one. Okay. We're gonna try it, but also at the same time, I want you to tell me what is a typical meal for you, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay.
And to fulfill all the protein you need as a bodybuilder. And another question, maybe follow that. How do you fuel your body before working out? How do you recover after you're working out? So here's a whole wide question for you.
So
all right, I'm gonna open this up and we're gonna cheers, and then you're gonna start talking.
Okay. All right. Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Oh, he's reading his labels first.
Yeah, I just
See,
want to see.
unlike me.
I want to see what all it,
Yeah.
it looks like. It's like a greens drink. So more
Okay.
than like a protein powder. It's more
Yeah, it's
like
a green, green drink.
greens. Okay, good. I
Like a superfood greens.
superfood. Yeah,
Mhm.
I like greens.
Yeah, a blend of fruits and veggies for total well-being.
There you go. So yeah, if you don't have time to cook, you could do
There
one of
you go.
these and take
Cheers.
it with you and still
Yep.
get your greens.
It tastes very good.
It actually tastes really good.
Very
Yeah.
good. Actually, it's
I
very,
was,
very good.
I was surprised.
I'm really surprised.
Some
That's a pink
greens are-
lemonade. Yeah, that's a pink lemonade flavor, and actually they have the beach mango as well.
Some greens are too greeny.
Yeah,
even
but this
for-
is not.
for
It's
me,
very light.
Yeah.
This is very light.
Light and refreshing.
Yeah. Okay.
So a few things there. Right now, I'm about 245 pounds, and I'm not recommending this to other people. This is just what I do.
Okay.
I get 370 grams of protein a day.
How much?
370. So
Vegan.
vegan, yes. So you can get protein as a vegan, and you can get a lot.
Wow.
A lot of people.
Please tell me how.
Yeah. So I don't have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have meal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I eat a lot.
Okay.
I mean, that's what it takes. I had to kind of reverse engineer this because when I got started, my first day actually going to a commercial gym, there was a big bodybuilder there that pulled me aside, asked me what I was doing, how I was training, and what I was eating. And when he heard I was vegan, he told me, "You'll never build any muscle as a vegan.
Yeah,
You'll never grow as a
that-
vegan."
Yeah, that is like the stereotype.
It's the stereotype, and,
Yes,
and I kind of believed him because this is like a 275-pound competitive bodybuilder that I was 15. I assumed he knew everything he was talking about, and I was like, well, I enjoy working out, so I'll just keep working out even if I don't build any muscle.
Yes.
And then he was wrong, and I've had the opportunity to look at other bodybuilders and how they set up their diets and then kind of tweak them to make them vegan. So I do eat 6 meals a day. At this point in time, food is higher. Like carbohydrates are around 500 a day on average. Fats are about 75 a day. And some days I go
So
higher.
how many avocados do you eat a day?
I love avocados. I would.
When you say fats,
yeah. I would.
I'm very sure it has to include avocados.
I love avocados. I love chia seeds. I love almond butter. Like all those healthy fat sources. So for me, I have to build my diet in a way that's digestible. Like I can't eat oatmeal 3-4 times a day because to get the number of carbohydrates from oats, I'd be getting a lot of fiber. Same thing for my protein. I can't do a ton of beans every day
So you have
because
to
you get too much
balance.
fiber, and then that will slow down your digestion. I need my digestion to kind of be flowing
Moving.
and moving. My metabolism's high. I'm burning a lot of calories at the gym. I still do cardio. So to get specific, I do for my carb source a lot of rice. That seems to digest well, and I can either do like normal rice cakes, cream of rice, where you take rice at a blender at home. I have YouTube videos of this, and then like cook it in the microwave and add protein powder, and that's one of my favorite meals is cream of rice with protein powder, and then maybe a fat source like macadamia nut oil or almond butter or peanut butter, something to slow it down a little bit. Throw some fruit on top, and if you want to add vegetables, you can add canned pumpkin, and I'll make like this kind of like dessert, like pumpkin pie spice protein
That's amazing.
concoction.
I never thought. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Wow.
so usually 2 to 3 meals a day are going to be some kind of like protein powder mixed with rice or made into like a pudding or a smoothie bowl with rice cakes on top or something like that. And then my other meals, like kind of like the main meals, for the protein source, there's really a lot of options. So I tell my
Can you name
clients,
some?
I tell my clients to like eat what works for you, not just what you like, but what likes you, whatever digests well for you. So tofu is one option. That's gonna be higher protein, a little bit higher fat. Other forms of soy that are similar would be like tempeh or edamame. You're gonna get a lot of protein with those, but it is paired with some fat. So if you're trying to keep your fats lower, then you have options like TVP, which is textured vegetable protein. They basically take the soy protein and pull out the fat. It's very much like kind of like ground beef. You can put it in soups. You can put it on salads.
I've seen those. Yes. Okay.
Taco mix. You can even eat it dry, almost like a granola topping on that smoothie bowl. So sometimes I'll do that.
Okay.
Then if you're moving away from soy, there's vital wheat gluten, which it is from wheat, but it's the protein from wheat. And you can kind of cook and make either breads, like I'll make like banana bread with that, but it'll be super high in protein. Or the more traditional way is to add like liquid smoke, garlic, maybe some soy sauce, garlic, pepper, and make it into like kind of like a vegan meat. And then you can slice it up or chop it up, fry it, however you want it from there. And that's very, very high in protein, very low in carbs, very low in fat. So it's a good like prep food, like when I'm prepping for a show.
So you spend a lot of time really, that takes a lot of amount of time, or you're just really very expert now at this and you know what to do and you just doesn't take you a longer time to do?
I would say I'm an expert now. I've spent...
I can imagine.
Yeah, probably. I mean, whenever I started bodybuilding at 15, that was when I started cooking for myself. So like I got about 17 years of like cooking all my own meals. And actually a little bit before that, I was a wrestler. And like I told my mom, stop cooking for me. Like I'm not allowed to eat a lot of food, so I'll figure out my diet. But then adding on to those lists, we also have like, there's some of the vegan alternative meats. So I work with a company called Say Grace, and they make these like strips, and I'll throw them, I'll boil them, add some like sugar-free barbecue sauce and stuff like that. And it kind of makes like almost like pulled pork, similar. And I'll throw that with like rice and green beans, and that'll be a meal.
When was, I don't think you can remember even when was the last time you ate a steak?
I must have been like 10 years old, 9 years old. Yeah. So it's hard for me to sometimes even like relate to people that are like, how do you give this up? How can you not, like you must be missing out. But for me, I've tried so many foods as a vegan that I probably wouldn't have tried had I not gone vegan. And when you look at it, are there more animals in the world or plants? There's a lot more plants. There's a lot more varieties. 100%. There's a lot of different stuff to eat. 100%. And then when we look at our meats, they're all
processed and hormone.
Well, yes, and we don't just eat meat by itself. We always season it with plants. Yes, so 100%. If plants contain all that flavor and seasoning, you can find other ways. And I look at cultural foods as well. If we look at Asian foods, Indian foods, even some Hispanic foods like Ethiopian foods, a lot of those regions, they don't have the ability to make that much meat. So
I'm from Egypt originally.
Okay.
So I can
Middle Eastern foods as well.
Middle Eastern foods. So you haven't been to Egypt or any place like that before, right?
No, but falafel, baba ganoush, eggplant, hummus, pita.
I'm gonna tell you about one more thing. The most popular breakfast for Egyptian, it's called fava beans.
Okay.
Have you heard of fava beans?
It's in this protein.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you go around the street foods are fava beans.
Okay.
And falafel and eggplant, fried eggplant, French fries. It's like you Google this, and that's what's the most popular. Most of the time, like my husband and I, we're hungry. We do not go out and eat burger. We get a can of fava beans, low sodium. Have some falafel, homemade falafel at home. We make it actually from the fava beans. We do not, like the normal falafel, they make it from hummus, like the Lebanese one, but we do make it from the fava beans.
Okay.
And we add to it all the greens and stuff. And here we go. And I fry some eggplants and
you're full from the fiber and the protein.
And I'm telling you, what you call the fava bean, it's a say, but I have to say it. It's like it holds your stomach like you didn't get hungry for hours.
Yep.
Because of the amount of protein, everything is very, the ratios are amazing when you look at the protein, the carb, everything in it. And you add to it some olive oil, some just seasoning, some tahini sauce, and that's it. I'm telling you, you have to try that.
I would love to.
Okay. All right. I'll treat you for a couple of cans. Okay. And a way of that, just to show you another vegetarian or vegan way, not vegetarian, vegan way.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, and I think that's really good.
As you said, the culture, really, not everybody. I grew up eating meat once a week.
Yeah.
And it's chicken once a week.
Yeah.
And fish every few weeks, and the rest was like beans, rice, fava beans, and all this. And I think I'm a growing woman.
It didn't hold you back from growing, and I know. We've done research like the China study where they looked at 1 billion people. They broke China down into different regions based on income and based on diet. And what they were able to deduce is the regions that were more affluent, that had more money, that ate more like Americans, also had higher incidences of heart disease, cholesterol being high, strokes, diabetes, and it was because they added in a lot of these animal-based processed foods.
You know what is really sad? When you travel overseas, and most of those countries are more Americanized now. You see McDonald's, you see Hardee's, you can see KFC. Come on, people.
Yeah.
Stick to what you have. But again, it's industrial. It is growing. It is money. It's
the advertising,
the money. and it's just a whole generation trending not to learn how to eat natural, what to look for, and really having someone like you really advocate for this is just an amazing thing.
Thank you.
It's just really amazing, to hear you talking about this and just follow it like that, and having your Instagram and just doing it 100% like this, and you're that shape. It's just what a wonderful, what an amazing, experience to be talking to you about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For me, that's why I do this. I, believe it or not, if you guys can see me, I have a pink hoodie, orange shorts, green hair, a vegan head tattoo. I'm a pretty big introvert. It's taken a lot of reps and practice.
I was going to ask,
here.
How is your workout? Give me how much do you work out? How long do you work out?
Yeah.
Give me like a routine of your workout.
I will jump into that just a second. So this is not my, like, I don't like to talk in front of people. I don't like to get on stage. I don't necessarily like to be on camera, but I want to show up for everyone in the way that I didn't feel like I had people showing up for me. Like when I was 15 and I was told I can't do this. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be a bodybuilder so bad, but I was told I couldn't do it. And so now I want to encourage other people that being vegan won't hold you back. It's not, go vegan and you're not going to become like Superman overnight or Superwoman overnight. But it's not going to hold you back either. It's totally viable, and that's my whole goal here, is to show people that you don't have to give up the foods you love. You don't have to give up the social settings, because there's so many vegan options. There's so many restaurants now. You don't have to give up your health. You don't have to give up your money. You don't have to give up your physique to go vegan. Really, what you get when you go vegan is a healthier lifestyle. I think a pretty inclusive community. There are some loud vegans that I get where they're at. I get why they're angry. They're upset about these animals being killed. But for the most part, vegans are an inclusive group. Doesn't matter what you look like. Doesn't matter your race, your gender, your age. We're all just here to have a kinder world together. So you get a community. I feel like there's so many upsides. So that's why I'm so now, like, try to be vocal, or at least appear vocal, because I'm really not. Like, I know for a fact it was you that stopped me to talk to me at Crunch, because I don't really stop other people, because I'm kind of shy.
I'm a little bit, I can talk, but but thank you for stopping that day also, by the way, and taking a picture with me.
So right now, I train usually 4 to 5 days a week. It's pretty typical of like what any other bodybuilder would do. I've basically copied what works for a traditional bodybuilder, and I just eat vegan. But I train based on muscle groups. Right now, I have a pull day, a push day. I usually take a rest day. Then I'll do shoulders, and then I'll do arms, and then I'll do legs, and then I take a rest day. So that's kind of like where I'm at now. Usually in the gym for an hour and a half to 2 hours, mostly because some people will talk to me, and then I'll get in conversation. It's my time out of the house, so I like to enjoy it. But realistically, I could really knock it out an hour and a half to 2 hours, 5 days a week. I do about 25 minutes of cardio, 5 to 6 days a week. I just like to bike or do the treadmill. I like to walk a lot too. That's like, I call it walking therapy. Like, whatever stuff has been troubling me or bothering me, if I walk 10 or 15,000 steps, it's almost like erasing that chalkboard of whatever was going on, and then I have a clean slate,
100%,
ready to come back and get some fresh air. I love that we're outside for this. Even
yes, and it's a little bit warming. My hands are cold, Chris, but look at him. His hands are like he's standing there. Okay.
It's nice.
Yeah.
So, I think I might have missed a couple things on the nutrition side. So pre-workout, I'm usually going to eat that cream of rice bowl, because it digests really fast, and then I'm able to train not too long after eating that. If I did like your fava bean meal for breakfast, or like oatmeal, like I had oatmeal today, so because I wasn't sure how long we would last here, so I'm like, I'll be full for a while. But if I know I need to train, it's usually going to be cream of rice, or maybe like rice cakes with a protein pudding, some nuts on the side, or something to slow down the digestion just a little bit. Then while I'm training, I'm really big on intra-workouts. That's actually why I stopped by here, was to stock up on some essential amino acids.
Yes.
I'll pair those with usually like highly branched cyclic dextrin, a good carb source, and then some sodium or electrolyte mix. And then post-workout, that's when, I know there's studies both ways as to whether or not you need protein immediately after training, but I have noticed for myself and my athletes that if you do eat within about an hour or less after training, it seems to be better. So I'll do like I used to do protein shakes, but I love eating my food instead of drinking it.
Okay.
So I'll take protein, I'll put it in a bowl, and I'll add a little bit of cold water, like almond milk, and then make a pudding.
So you add it, but you add it to your food.
Yeah. So it's still protein. It's just instead of in a shake to drink it, I get to eat it with a spoon.
What is your favorite superfood or supplement, or do you like to take?
Ooh. So I've been on my own journey, because like vegan for me was for the animals, but now I am trying to be healthier. So when I build out meal plans for clients or for myself, some of those kind of like superfoods, for me at least, are digestion based. So there's like coconut yogurts or soy yogurts. They have the same active live cultures that you would get from like a regular yogurt. Those are really good for digestion. I really like having those. I will also usually add a fermented food, so something like kimchi or sauerkraut, that I try and get at least a serving of that a day. And then I really also like to lean on some of my fruits, so things like pineapple,
yes.
or papaya or mango, whichever one of those you like.
Okay.
Those seem to help with digestion as well. So.
Do you use mushrooms at all? Do you use like beets at all? Do you use any of this? I mean, this is like kind of super food. They're very, very popular right now at our shelves. A lot of people are using them in a different way, like gummies, powders, capsules. What do you think of those?
I love mushrooms. There's a lot of different types of mushrooms. There's the food type, like that you would just normally get, like baby bella mushrooms or shiitake mushrooms, but then there's the adaptogenic type, like lion's manes and reishi. Those definitely help with focus. There's the psychedelic kind, which I'm not sure we're getting into here, but those have their own purpose, I think, in a lot of people's lives.
Okay.
So yeah, I love mushrooms. I think those would definitely fall under that superfood category, like something everybody should have, from really a little bit of each of what I just said.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, again, you know, you almost covered every question I was going to ask. There's, one more question. I just have to look it up here. So what's your future goals? I was going to ask you, are you in a competition right now? You're going to a competition. What's your future goal, and what's your long-term or short-term and long-term goals with that?
Okay. I think you asked my goal from a bodybuilding stance. I'm gonna answer honestly.
Okay.
My goal in my lifetime is to eliminate factory farming, or at least bring it down as much as I possibly can. So through forms of activism like this podcast, or through what I do in the gym, or any of those things, that's my long-term goal. Last year, 2024, I really leaned into building myself and building my own brand. And I was definitely a bit scared along the way, like what if this doesn't work? I had left my full-time job. I just do coaching now, and I promote for other companies. And I think I had a really successful year. I know I had a really successful year.
Congratulations.
This year, I'm realizing I can't do it alone. So I've hired a business partner. He works for me and with me full-time.
Yeah.
As of last night, I just brought my sister on board.
Oh, nice.
So I got somebody in the family. And my goal is to have 10 employees by the end of the year. I think that's a very lofty goal, but I'm realizing I can't do this on my own.
What do you do exactly with the business? Are you going to increase the amount of podcasts, or are you going to promote more of you? What are you going to be doing exactly?
I do a lot of content. So I have the Bodybuilding Vegan on Instagram. I have my YouTube channel as well. I have another podcast outside of this with a vegan co-host that she's a competitive vegan bodybuilder as well. Okay. So continuing to grow all those, continuing to grow my coaching team.
Are you affiliated with any other organization that support vegan or help the vegan at all?
I'm a board member with a company called Vegans Explore, and I'm also looking at creating my own nonprofit company as well. I currently sell clothing where we donate the proceeds to animal charities. I think that I pretty much wear vegan. I have the tattoo so that I don't always have to have a vegan shirt, but I pretty much wear it everywhere I go. And then that's like the biggest overarching goal, is to continue that activism.
That's awesome.
And not be afraid to lean into that. I used to not speak up because I was afraid of what people might think. As far as bodybuilding and competing goes, I had up until this month worked underneath a coach for 5 years consecutively.
Oh, wow.
About 2 years with one coach, 3 years with my most recent coach. I've taken a step back because I plan to do a bit of traveling. I continue to promote a lot for restaurants. So I'll be trying food, or I didn't have to ask permission to drink this. I can make that judgment call to drink this drink. It only has 25 calories. Not a big deal, but technically it's off plan. And I want to be able to make those judgment calls because I feel like this was a valuable interaction. I didn't want to turn down your kindness and say no to this drink.
Thank you for doing that.
So for this year, I continue to grow. That's the goal. I'd love to get to eventually about 270 pounds.
Okay.
Once I reach that, then I think it would be a realistic goal to enter into a prep and aim to become the first men's IFBB open bodybuilding pro as a vegan in the United States. It's been done in other countries. It's never been done in the United States.
Really?
If somebody else beats me to it, good for them, then I don't have to try. But I don't personally know any other vegans that are 6 foot tall, 245 pounds with abs.
Oh, wow.
And that's where I'm sitting now, and I need to get a lot bigger, but I am taking that time to grow, and then maybe 2026, maybe 2027, I'll be back on stage.
It will happen. It will happen. So can I talk about your hair color and the vegan, why it's that color, or it's just like because of the green, or?
Great question. So it was not always green.
Okay.
Believe it or not, blue is my favorite color.
I love blue as well.
Green was always my brother's favorite color, which is
Okay.
funny.
Uh-huh.
But so my hair, I didn't used to look like this. It used to just be normal hair, and then I shaved and had a bald head for a while. But then when I was getting ready to compete in 2021, my former employer / best friend / business partner, he took me under his wing when I got laid off due to COVID. And I learned a lot from him, and I also learned a lot from his stepmom. She was a record setter in the Olympic deadlift back when they used to have that in the 80s. Like, she set the first world record in that.
Wow.
She was a breast cancer survivor, and when she survived breast cancer, she said, fuck it, I'm growing my hair back, and I'm gonna have a pink mohawk. And so the whole time I knew her, she had a pink mohawk. So I wore a hat for a long time, I grew my hair out, and right before getting on stage, I dyed it pink, and I said, this is for you, because she had done a lot for me. And after that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go blue, I'm gonna go purple. And then I went green, and everybody started to be like, oh, I saw you at that show. Like, people way bigger than me, or like bigger in social media, like people started recognizing me because of my hair. And I was like, oh, I've locked myself into green. It kind of makes sense. Go green. Go
yeah,
vegan.
that's what I'm saying. Is that really?
It makes sense.
I wore a green shirt today. Hey. Yeah.
So, for better or worse, I've kind of locked myself into green. I tried to do.
It's been like green for a while.
It's been green for a while. I was going to do green and red for Christmas. It would have been perfect for this interview with GNC. But the red out of the box looked like orange, and I was like, I'm not doing Miami colors, green and orange. So I kind of did a rainbow, and then that faded kind of quickly. The green, at least it lasts for a long time, so I don't have to do
so
this you
didn't have
that
to do
frequently.
this.
Yeah,
How often do you do it?
If I'm being lazy, like every 2 to 3 weeks. So not
It's
that
not
bad.
too bad.
Yeah,
It's not bad. And you do it at home, right? You don't go to it.
Thank Allie, I love you. My girlfriend, she does it for me.
Oh,
So,
good.
'cause I can't
All right.
I can't really get
He's
back there with a
thankful.
razor on my own.
Yeah.
Nobody is a self-made man or woman. Not a single person. I don't care if you run your own business. I don't care if you had no parents. I don't care what it is. If you have a business and somebody buys from you, they're supporting you. My hair, I can't do that on my own. I have support there. You offering to have me on this podcast, that's support there.
Yes.
Anybody that likes my stuff or shares my stuff, that's support there. Anybody that uses my code, anybody that works with me, nothing that I've done has been on my own. And I'm just very grateful to have had all the support and the love and the kindness from everybody that's allowed me, even the bullies. Even the bullies. I've in my heart forgiven them, and they made me stronger. Now there's so many internet bullies. Anytime I post something, there will be bullies on the internet. And I'm like, you have nothing on what happened to me in 5th grade. So good luck. You can try with your keyboard, but it's not going to happen. So like every step along the journey has been something that I can learn or grow from, and I've just been really lucky to have all this help.
Have you ever thought about going like to schools and maybe mentor some kids about, being vegan or the bullying, or how can you overcome with a personality like you, with your hair, with your body size? Do you think you'll be really a good influence for a lot of young children? Have you ever thought about contacting maybe the school boards and, growing something like that?
I hadn't thought about reaching out to a school board like younger kids, but that's a great idea for a number of reasons. One, kids do get bullied a lot.
You went through it. I mean, you did went through it. So I think there's a lot of also organization against bullying
and kids are open-minded too. When if you're 40,
I think kids will love you for that. Just like I think kids will love you.
Well, I try to be colorful now, because I used to wear like all black, and I would have a beanie on my head and the beard, and I kind of looked like I was a biker gang member or something. So now I think, maybe they get behind it. If it was before, they'd be like, oh no, somebody broke in. But I feel like kids are open-minded, and kids already love animals. You know,
Yeah.
when you're born, we all love animals.
And I think
It's only-
with the social media these days, kids need to interact with someone that will be like a good figure for them,
Yeah.
to learn from them. And just like instead of just following some unknown person online or, you know, on social media, or a kid who doesn't know, but when they look up to something, someone like you, I think would be a great idea.
I like that. Thank you for saying that. Back to the momentary talking about the different kinds of mushrooms, they've allowed me to see different perspectives, and like what you just told me, I think you're right. I think I would be a good role model for
Yes.
kids, or a good example of somebody to speak to. But like that thought didn't initially come to me because I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, I'm this great person that can do everything. But like, I think you're right. I think I
mean,
could.
and you like to give, you know, back. You're a very kind person. You're kind to animals, and also you're trying to protect humanity. And
It starts with kids.
It starts with kids. It's
Yeah.
just by teaching them the right thing. Even if they didn't want to be vegan, but you can learn how to choose the right food, how to pick and choose, and learn about how the food is coming to them, what kind of source of food they're eating, so they can make the right choices. And this way we can create a better generation
Yes.
to be maybe vegan bodybuilders, right? So, you know?
I don't encourage anybody to be a bodybuilder unless they really, really want to. But
Yes.
vegan
Or
for
maybe
sure.
healthy, live the
Yeah.
healthy lifestyle.
And do what they want. Because for me, I was bullied so much that when I decided to, you know, I was bullied because I had long hair. And so I never thought I would do anything different with I wanted to blend in. That's like 8th grade hit, and I just wanted to blend in. I wanted to be nobody because I was so insecure of what other people thought of me. And so I'd love to encourage kids to be themselves, to be different, because that's what makes us all
you do
special.
what you love, and you don't have to follow somebody else, or you don't have to be afraid to do exactly what you love.
Don't be like me, be like you, because you are great the way you are. And whatever
Yeah,
color you want your hair to
exactly.
be, that's the color it should be.
Yeah, and whatever color you are in, or whatever, you know, nationality, or whatever, you know, if you're smart, do the right thing, and be kind to other people. That's what is going to make you the better person later on, not somebody judging you. But just a thought just came to my mind when I was just talking to you. I think you would be a great advocate for a lot of kids.
Maybe GNC could sponsor it, and we could bring
Yes,
some snacks, like healthy snacks or something.
Hey, well, I'll contact the schools, and we'll maybe go together,
Let
and
me
I'll
know.
start. Hey, Chris, here's an idea.
There's an idea.
You
I
know.
love this.
So I think we took more than we. I'm sorry. I know we
it's
told you
okay.
35 minutes,
Yeah,
but I
it's been
keep
fun.
talking. Yeah. But I usually ask everyone, did I miss anything to ask you? There a question I should have asked you and I didn't ask?
I have a couple things that I'll just close out with. So if anybody is listening to this, if any of this resonates with you, if you have a question, I am an open book. Probably the easiest way to find me, if you have Instagram, I'm at the Bodybuilding Vegan. I have my YouTube channel. If those don't work, if you're a little more old school, you can find my website, thebodybuildingvegan.com, and it has different ways you can contact me on there and see more about what I do. I think the last thing that I'll just throw out there, if you had asked me what's a quote that really resonates with me, it's that we don't inherit the world from our parents, we borrow it from our children. And so that's where this whole message of be kind, give back, be sustainable, be vegan if you choose, all really comes into play, because it's not just about us, and it's not that we got this from our parents, it's what are we going to leave behind? And hopefully we can leave it in a better place.
That's 100%. Do you have any questions for me? Do you have anything you would like to ask me as well?
When are we going to the school?
I love that. Let me work on that.
Yeah.
And I think it's we're the beginning of 2025. We're still January.
Yeah.
We can put a plan to do a few things. And I think we can go from elementary, middle, or high school, whoever is available, whoever is going to give us the opportunity to share with them your experiences and how to be healthy and give them the healthy lifestyle. I would love for that to happen very, very soon.
Awesome.
And I really, really, really thank you for your time. I'm really excited to meet with you today and have all that great conversation. What an amazing young man. Thank you so much. Thank you for what you do for the world. Really, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And the coffee.